For 9 years, the world believed D.B. Cooper vanished into the wilderness without leaving a single clue. No parachute, no equipment, no tracks, just silence and the legend. But everything changed on February 10, 1980. On a quiet family picnic at Tennebar, on the banks of the Columbia River, a young boy named Brian Ingram was digging in the sand when his hands brushed against something unusual. A rubber band, then more rubber bands, then tightly packed bundles of cash, old, rotting, and stained by time. His father recognized the serial numbers immediately. These weren't just any banknotes. They were the ransom money. News spread across Washington like wildfire. The FBI rushed to the scene, agents combing the shoreline, helicopters circling above, metal detectors sweeping the sand. For the first time in nearly a decade, there was proof that Cooper had made contact with the ground. But the discovery brought more questions than answers. Why were the bills buried miles away from the suspected landing zone? Why were they still wrapped in the original rubber bands? Why were only some of the bills found, and not all $200,000? The FBI considered every possibility. Had Cooper buried the money himself? Had the river carried it? Or had someone else found Cooper and tried to hide the evidence? For investigators, this was both a breakthrough and a curse. The ransom resurfaced, but the man behind it was still a ghost. The money from Tennebar became one of the most studied pieces of evidence in FBI history, not because of what it proved, but because of what it didn't. Forensic scientists examined the bills under ultraviolet light, microscopes, and chemical tests, and what they discovered didn't match nature. The rubber bands were still partially intact, something impossible if they had been in the river for 9 straight years. They should have dissolved completely. The sediment on the bills didn't match the riverbed where they were found, meaning the money didn't wash ashore. The FBI created multiple theories. Theory 1, Cooper buried the money himself. Theory 2, a flood unearthed and reburied the cash. Theory 3, someone else found Cooper's loot first and tried to hide it again. But the science pointed toward a shocking conclusion. The money was planted, not scattered, not washed. Placed. Placed by who? Cooper? An accomplice? A stranger? No one could say. But one detail changed the trajectory of the entire investigation. The bundles were missing several $1,000s. Someone had taken a cut. That meant only one thing. The D.B. Cooper case was no longer a mystery of survival. It was now a mystery of the money trail. If the cash at Tennebar was planted, someone handled the ransom between 1971 and 1980. But who? There were countless theories. A fisherman who found Cooper's landing site. A hunter who stumbled across the briefcase. A criminal who discovered the loot and buried what he didn't want. Or Cooper himself, returning to leave behind a message or a distraction. Some investigators believed Cooper survived the jump. Others believed he died in the woods, and someone found the remains years later. But the missing money, the thousands unaccounted for, suggested something chilling. Someone touched the ransom money before the boy did. The FBI launched one of the most extensive manhunts in American history. They cross-referenced the serial numbers of every bill, alerting banks, casinos, and financial institutions across the country. For years, every suspicious transaction was scrutinized, but not a single bill from the missing thousands ever reappeared in circulation. Whoever took the missing money didn't spend it, didn't deposit it, didn't launder it, and that meant only one possibility remained. The person who took the missing ransom was either dead or hiding something so dangerous they couldn't risk being found. Episode 8 ends with a haunting truth. The money resurfaced, but the man behind it remained a shadow, smiling somewhere behind the legend. After the cash surfaced at Tennebar, the FBI made a discovery that shattered everything they believed for 9 years. The money wasn't in the river long enough to naturally drift there. The rubber bands told that story. The sediment told that story. The condition of the bills told that story. So the FBI explored a new, radical idea, one that threatened the foundation of their entire investigation. The plane's flight path was wrong. Some agents believed the drop zone was miscalculated from the start, that the storm winds carried Cooper further east, that he landed closer to the Columbia River than anyone guessed. Others believed something even more disturbing. Cooper never landed where the FBI expected, and maybe never planned to. What if he performed a decoy jump? What if he threw something out of the aircraft, money, or even a weighted bag, while he parachuted somewhere completely different. This theory rewrote the map. It expanded the search from miles to counties, from forests to coastlines. With every new possibility, the case grew colder. The money had resurfaced, but the truth had drifted further away. After the Tennabar discovery, the legend of D.B. Cooper transformed from a crime into an obsession. Treasure hunters swarmed the Columbia shoreline. They dug trenches, sifted through sand, scanned with metal detectors, and mapped every inch of riverbank. They weren't chasing money. They were chasing history. Some claimed to find scraps of parachute fabric. Others claimed to uncover metal pieces they believed were from Cooper's gear. None of it matched FBI records. Every winter, floods shifted the riverbanks. Every summer, new hunters arrived, each hoping to find the next clue the FBI missed. For many, D.B. Cooper became a symbol: freedom, mystery, rebellion, the perfect crime. People made documentaries, books, conventions. You could walk into bars in Washington and hear strangers arguing over the case like it happened yesterday. D.B. Cooper wasn't just a man anymore. He was a cultural icon, and the more famous he became, the farther the truth slipped away. Because buried beneath the jokes, theories, and treasure hunts was the uncomfortable question no one could answer. If the money was here, where was the man? Years after the Tennabar discovery, an aging park ranger came forward with a story he had kept quiet for a long time. And in the mid-1970s, during a routine patrol, he found something strange. He claimed he discovered a piece of an old parachute strap, not enough to prove anything, but enough to raise suspicion. Years later, after seeing the discovery at Tennabar, he went back into the woods, retracing his path, searching for anything he might have missed. He said he found a torn piece of fabric wedged under a fallen tree. White, weathered, too damaged to identify. He turned it in. The FBI tested it. And the results? Inconclusive. It wasn't enough to confirm a parachute, but it wasn't enough to rule it out, either. The ranger believed Cooper survived the jump, that he navigated the wilderness, and that he hid somewhere few people ever traveled. His final words on the subject still haunt Cooper researchers today. If D.B. Cooper died out there, nature would have given him back. It didn't, so he walked away. The money returned. But Cooper never did.